There's something about nighttime that makes your mind feel clearer. Your thoughts slow down, emotions feel louder, and suddenly you feel more like yourself. If you've ever wondered why you feel more alive when the world goes quiet, it's not random, and it's not laziness. There's a psychological reason your energy wakes up when everything else shuts down. For some people, nighttime doesn't feel like the end of the day. It feels like the beginning. While others are winding down, your mind feels like it's finally stretching out. Ideas flow easier. Music hits deeper. Conversations feel more honest. Even silence feels comforting. It's as if your real personality only shows up after dark. And if you've ever felt guilty about that, like something must be wrong with you, you're not alone. Society celebrates early risers. Productivity culture praises 5 a.m. routines, cold showers, and sunrise workouts. Being energized at night is often labeled as procrastination, poor discipline, or laziness. But psychology tells a very different story. Let's start with something called chronotype. Every human has an internal biological rhythm that determines when they feel most awake and when they feel most tired. Some people are naturally wired to feel alert in the morning. Others are wired for later hours. These are often called larks and owls. Night-energized people aren't choosing to feel awake late. Their nervous system is built that way. Their bodies release alertness hormones later in the day. Their cognitive peak happens when most of the world is already unplugging. It's not a bad habit. It's biology, but that's only the surface. Because feeling more alive at night usually goes deeper than sleep schedules. Nighttime removes pressure. During the day, your brain is constantly managing expectations, emails, notifications, responsibilities, social cues, background noise. Even when you're doing nothing, part of your mind is still on standby, waiting to respond to something. At night, that demand disappears. No one expects immediate replies. Fewer people are watching. The world gives you permission to exist without performing. That creates psychological relief. Your nervous system finally shifts out of react mode, and when that happens, your authentic self gets more room to breathe. That's why creativity often shows up after dark. Writers write, artists draw, thinkers think. Emotionally deep people feel. It's not because night makes you creative, it's because night removes interruption. There's also something powerful about darkness. Darkness reduces sensory input. Fewer visuals, less movement, lower volume. This naturally turns your attention inward. Instead of reacting to external stimulation, your brain starts processing internal experiences. Memories surface, emotions come forward, ideas connect. For people who are introspective, sensitive, or emotionally aware, this inward shift feels grounding. They finally feel aligned with themselves. Another key factor is autonomy. Nighttime belongs to you. During the day, your time often feels owned by others. Jobs, family, schedules, obligations. Even your free time feels structured. There's always somewhere you're supposed to be or something you should be doing. But late at night, that time feels self-directed. You choose how to spend it. No one is demanding productivity. No one is interrupting your flow. That sense of control creates a quiet form of freedom, and freedom fuels aliveness. Many night-alive people grew up in environments where their emotional space wasn't fully respected. Maybe they had loud households. Maybe privacy was limited. Maybe they learned early to stay alert during the day and decompress only when everyone else was asleep. Over time, their nervous system learned that nighttime equals safety. Quiet became comfort. Solitude became restoration. So now, even as adults, their bodies remember. Night feels like permission to finally exhale. There's also a strong link between nighttime energy and emotional depth. People who feel most alive at night often have rich inner worlds. They think deeply. They reflect. They feel things fully. During busy daytime hours, those inner experiences get buried under surface-level interactions. But when the world slows down, their emotional volume turns up. That's when they process. That's when they understand themselves. That's when they feel real. This is also why nighttime can bring both creativity and sadness. Without distractions, unresolved feelings rise. You remember old conversations. You replay moments. You imagine futures. You question choices. It's not overthinking. It's emotional integration. Your brain finally has the quiet it needs to sort through everything you've been carrying. Some people call this nighttime anxiety, but for many it's simply unfiltered awareness. Another interesting pattern, night-alive people often feel misunderstood. They're told to fix their sleep schedule. They're labeled unmotivated. They're pressured to match morning culture. But what rarely gets acknowledged is that these people often do their best thinking when others are resting. They notice things others miss. They feel connections others overlook. They create when the world stops asking for output. That doesn't make them broken. It makes them different. And different nervous systems need different rhythms. There's also something symbolic about night. Daytime is about survival. Nighttime is about meaning. During the day, we do what we must. At night, we feel who we are. That's why deep conversations happen at 2 a.m. That's why music sounds better through headphones in the dark. That's why journaling hits harder at midnight. Your defenses are down. Your ego is quieter. Your truth speaks louder. People who feel alive at night often struggle with traditional productivity structures because their peak energy doesn't align with office hours. They might feel behind in a world that runs on morning schedules, but when given flexibility, they often thrive creatively, emotionally, and intellectually. Their strengths simply activate later. There's also a connection between nighttime energy and high empathy. Highly empathetic people absorb emotional information all day long. They read moods, they sense tension, they carry other people's energy without realizing it. By nighttime, they finally release that load. Their emotional system resets. That release can feel euphoric. Suddenly they feel lighter, clearer, more themselves. Night becomes their emotional recovery window. This is why many night-alive people love being alone after dark. Not because they hate people, but because solitude helps them return to themselves. They're not escaping connection. They're restoring it internally. And here's something rarely discussed. Nighttime reduces social performance. During the day, you're constantly adjusting how you speak, how you act, how you present yourself. At night, those expectations fade. You don't have to impress anyone. You don't have to be efficient. You don't have to be strong. You just exist. That psychological safety allows authenticity to emerge. So if you feel more alive at night, it often means your nervous system finally feels unobserved. Free to be real, free to feel, free to think, free to create. But there's an important balance here. Feeling alive at night doesn't mean neglecting rest. It doesn't mean burning out. It means understanding your rhythm and working with it instead of fighting it. Some people are built for sunrise, some are built for moonlight. Both are valid. What matters is learning how to protect your energy, structure your life around your natural patterns when possible, and stop judging yourself through someone else's biological clock. Because being alive at night isn't a flaw. It's a signal that your mind thrives in quiet, that your emotions deepen in stillness, that your creativity blooms in darkness, that your nervous system feels safest when the world softens. So the next time you find yourself wide awake while everyone else sleeps, don't assume something is wrong with you. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're simply tuned to a different frequency. And in a world that never truly slows down, that ability to come alive in silence might actually be a gift.